Now that we've looked at creating randomized chord progressions, we're going to look at a new way to take those chord progressions and make them even more dynamic with the Arpeggiator MIDI device, which I've just grabbed from the MIDI effects folder of the browser. And I'm adjusting the rate, which is one of the fundamental controls. It takes incoming notes from a chord and plays all the notes of the chord as single notes, going between them in a pattern specified by the style drop-down menu here, at a rate determined by the rate knob. And so I want to look at the random styles, which are going to select any random note. Now, the basic random note might repeat the same note many times in a row. So the random other mode will play any random note except for the one that was just played. Now, it occurs just randomizing the velocity of the entire chord note that's being played. But if we move the velocity to the end of the chain, it'll randomize the velocity of all the separate arpeggiated notes, rather than each quarter note's worth of chord notes that are then being arpeggiated. As we'll continue to see, it makes a great deal of difference the order in which we place our MIDI devices. So I'm just adjusting the frequency on the analog here to make the performance a little more interesting. But now we have something so much more expressive with the velocity randomization applied to the arpeggiated notes. As I move the arpeggiator to the beginning of the sequence, it's going to play sixteenth note chords through the scale, or if we put the chord at the end of the chain, it's going to repeat a different chord pattern each bar, the pattern dictated by the rhythm of the velocity dynamic, and the chord determined by the incoming randomized whole note. So an incredibly different result than arpeggiating the chorded notes. We're adding a chord now to the arpeggiated notes instead. And there we go, back to our original Baroque sort of 16th note melody with the expressiveness of the velocity randomization, adjusting the gate time with the random once arpeggiation style. We can increase the steps similarly to the scale dial on the random. The steps determine how many octaves the arpeggiation will climb or descend depending on the style pattern of note arpeggiation. In our next tutorial, we'll look at capturing all this incredibly dynamic chaos.